Christine. It's day 11 of 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life. And it's also the second Saturday, which is when I have been doing Bo Bunny Stash Bash. And so I'm going to combine them. So what I have, let me show you the sketch first. It is by Natalie Turcott. She has an Instagram, scrapbook _ Natalie Nature, I guess. She's got 3 pictures. I'm not going to have 3 pictures. I have 1 picture. And then it looks to me like there's this, there's a square here. I'm going to think of that as torn paper edges. And then she's got kind of little embellishment deals kind of coming in the corner with the title up here. And then text, which could be, I'm supposing, journaling or whatever. So what I've got also in the way of the Bo Bunny Stash Bash is I pulled out a 2013. Y'all, I'm working date order. And I have a couple of these 2013 collections. So this is 2013. And it was Prairie Chic was the name of the collection. And it's really pretty. It's kind of got these... I'm going to use these 3 here. I'll show y'all the other ones in a moment. But it's gorgeous wood grain. And what I'm kind of doing with this is because there's these picture things or what. I'm kind of trying to figure out if can I use this, some kind of way. But I just love this wood grain with these kind of interesting patterns on there. I'm thinking for my little torn squares, I'm going to use this blue and this green. And I'm going to tear them and make a little thing in the middle here. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I might shrink it a little because I don't want to lose some of this pattern. So I'm going to play with this just a bit. I'm not certain yet. My picture is my daughter with this kind of neat, I don't remember if that's a Snapchat filter or if that's an Instagram filter, but whatever it is, I thought she looked kind of pretty. And I think that looks kind of pretty. And I'm going to make it smaller so it can fit up in here. And then just to show y'all a little bit more of the collection, it's got this sticker sheet. So I don't have any ephemera or anything. All I have is the sticker sheet. And there's letters for title. I didn't use any of this, y'all. How's that even possible? A couple of border stickers. I don't think I'm going to be using those. I do like this, You Are My Only Sunshine. That's really pretty. I also like this, When You Love What You Have Everything You Need. That's really pretty. But I think I might use this as the title, Be True to Who You Are. And I'll put that in the upper left corner as my thinking. I'm going to have to kind of tear and play and see where that all lays. And then I thought maybe in that lower right, if I end up doing something down there, I do have some cut-aparts here that might work. And then there's this little sheet here as well. So I have some stuff to work with. Here's the other pattern papers. There's these gorgeous prints. Y'all, Bo Bunny just, they are so interesting. I love these little patterns on here. I can't wait to get into this for other layouts too. There's a pretty little stripe. Looks like kind of like a wallpaper, old-timey. There's yet another wood grain, which is beautiful, with some green on the back of it. Look at these patterns, y'all. Oh my goodness. Now, it can make it challenging if you're not sure how to use the stuff that's in the corners, but I think they're really good cluster builders, Here's another pretty wood grain. And here's a more neutral paper. So if you need something for a neutral piece with a kind of again, I almost think that looks like a wallpaper kind of back in the old days. So that's what I have in that collection that I don't think I'm going to be pulling those out, but just in case. I did still have, there was a little book thing that came with this thing, and I thought about putting a picture on this. But, and I may still, I don't know, because I could put even a ribbon or something. That's not really part of the sketch, but I don't know if I have any ribbon now that I've said that. Well, I have some black one. Let's see. I don't know. I'm going to have this laying here just in case I think about it. So that's what I'm starting with. Like I said, let me trim this, kind of get my square made. That'll give me an idea of how much real estate I'm working with for this sketch here. So let me get started and I'll be back on. Okay, gang. So I decided to leave in this portion here where I'm kind of cutting the patterns here because I don't know why, to be honest. I decided to gut the green because I'm going to use the outside as a frame. And I guess here's where I'm trying to figure out, okay, I know I measured it out in my head. I need a 9x9. And I almost messed up, y'all. I started trying to cut it. I'm trying to remember now. I think I come in like 3 inches and I thought, well, that doesn't look right. And then I realized I needed 3 inches total. So it really was an inch and a half on each side. And I'm like, okay, that makes more sense. And I cut that out and then I thought, well, I need to tear the edges. And I thought, before I cut that blue piece, I'm going to tear these edges first because inevitably I'll end up tearing something the wrong size and making it too little or something. And I don't want to do that. So I'm going to tear these little edges here and it's going to take me just a second. And again, I'm using, if you saw my video, I think it was yesterday I was doing it. I was tearing paper and I made this really odd hand shape. Every time I watch myself do this, I think, what have you got going on with that hand? It's so strange, but it's how I hold the paper and stay close to my tearing. And I mentioned to you yesterday, if you watched, to keep control of your tear, you almost have to tear real close to your fingers like that. I mean, if you just start tearing and not be close to it, you could end up with, let me put it this way. I end up with some really odd shapes and not really what I want. So to keep it kind of, square, I keep my hand close to it. Now, I didn't make y'all sit through me tearing both sheets, but basically I just did the blue, kind of tore it around the green and then pasted the green down on top of the blue. Now, I didn't get the blue because I have plenty of paper, y'all, and as I mentioned before, I'm trying to kill these, or, these Bow Bunny pieces or collections. Now, here's where I made the comment I wasn't going to use the border sticker. I didn't think I would, but I do. Now, this is where geometry would have paid off. Geometry was probably my worst math subject, if I'm honest. Now, it's not like I didn't do well. I did all right. But I was way better at algebra and all those things. And somehow or another, I'm looking at this 12-inch long, or it's not quite 12 inches to be honest, but this little 12-inch long sticker thing. And I ended up realizing after I started cutting this thing up, I go, well, you don't have enough to go around a 3x4 picture. Because if you think about it, 3 and 3 is 6. And 4 and 4 is 8. Well, that's 14 inches. So I was 2 inches short, give or take. So I start trying to build the little, and this is to match up with the sketch where she had kind of drawn the frame around the outside of the picture on the little sketch. And I thought, well, I can do that. And then I thought, well, I'm just going to cut the little pieces apart and use them that way. And I thought, well, I can make it work that way if I stretch it apart. No, it still wasn't going to work. But you know what? In the end, it's okay because I'm going to figure out in a minute I can bring the title above the picture. So no worries. I will solve that little problem there. Again, I have to kind of approach scrapbooking sometimes as no problem. Because there are many a time that my plans go awry. And if I was to get upset about every time that happened, well, I'd be upset most of the time. So I'm just going to play with this. And you know what? It ends up perfect. Now, this little sticker, I will tell you, I've kind of said this before too. Even good quality stickers, if they're 12 years old, or what is 2013? No, I guess it's 10 years now at this point. They'll lose their sticky. So you have to put a little glue on them sometimes. So here's where I decide, well, you know what? I can put that title up there. Now I'm going to put it up on foam just because it's the green on the green kind of. Now there is that nice little stripe border around the little words, which I think is cool. So I kind of get the green on green with a little border, and it looks kind of neat. It's almost like it's, well, like it's intentional. So I'm going to put my little bit of foam on the outside, on the back side of my title here, and it's going to take me just a second, but I'm going to kind of look, see that? That looks really cool. I like that. And then I got my border, and I'm okay not to have it on the top. It's okay. It looks kind of neat just the way it is. So even though I still kind of piddle with it. Now, I'll end up having to use a little bit of Nuvo glue on these stickers. That's kind of where I was headed. The stickers, they do lose their sticky after, 10 years. I will end up using a little bit of Nuvo glue and even ATG on some of it because my little foam here won't stick just real good to the back of the... Well, did I use any glue on this piece here? I might not have on this piece. Well, that kind of worries me. I better check that. I'm hopeful it's going to stick. I might have to tug on it. Anyways, I'm going to just kind of lift this up over the top of the picture. And then I'm going to end up getting back into the sticker sheet too. I told you guys I only had this one picture here. So the bottom right side, or the bottom right piece down there where she had the additional 2 pictures, I'm going to end up using a couple of the stickers. I didn't actually get into my cut aparts. I thought I might, but in the end I ended up using a couple of stickers, and it was the 2 that I pointed out too. So here's where I got it. I got this one here that says, "You're my sunshine, my only sunshine." And the sweet part about that, if I'm honest, is when she was small, I'm thinking 3, 4 years old, because she actually started waking herself up to go to school sometime in elementary school. But I used to go into her room and I'd sing, "You're my sunshine, my only sunshine," to wake her up. And that's just kind of a sweet memory that we have. And so I really love that little phrase there. And then I found that other one that says, "When you love what you have everything you need." I really love that concept, or that thought as well. So that's going to be the 2 little pieces that are going to take the picture, the place of the 2 pictures down there in the lower right. This is just really a little layout. Just I'm going to write a little, where she's got the text in the upper right, I'm just going to write her a little note. And you'll see me do that because I don't think to cut it out. So it's going to be in here. But first in the lower left, I do get into this Tim Holtz, the little small talk or whatever it is. And I pull out a few little phrases. One is going to be "Live your dream with passion." Then I'm going to put "Fall in love with as many things as possible." And then "Always take the scenic route, practice kindness, and miracles happen when you believe." And all of these kind of tie back into her. She's just got such a, how do I call it? She's just such a hopeful spirit. She's always got dreams, and she's always looking to better herself and to travel, and she's just a happy spirit, and I just love it. So these little things here just, they kind of speak to me when I think about her. So I'm just going to find these little phrases here, and that kind of takes the place of the text in the lower left corner. And then, like I said, in just a second after I glue these down, I'm going to end up writing that little note in the upper right corner. Now, Saturn is, of course, supervising this entire thing. I did not have really any ephemera to work with. I mentioned that in the beginning, and it always makes me feel a little bit strange when I don't use ephemera. But I think with this layout, it worked out okay, because I will add the dots. You'll see that in just a moment. So here's where I'm just writing her little note, and it just says, Brooke, you're so beautiful and kind and smart. I'm constantly amazed that God gave you to us as our daughter, and I'm so incredibly blessed by our relationship. I love you, sweet girl. Love, Mama. So she is my best friend. I mean, of course, maybe excluding my husband, I suppose, but when you think about people you enjoy spending time with and doing things with, she's definitely at the top of my list. So I love that. And again, I'm going to get into my box, my stash of jewel stuff in just a second. And I'm not going to lie, y'all, I had to do this little part. I try to get up and scrapbook first thing in the morning before we head to the gym. And this particular morning, I was in there working on this, and then I heard my husband come back inside from doing his cardio, and I only had about probably 90 seconds to get these things down. So I'm hurrying, y'all. And these little jewels here, they're actually self-adhesive on like a long strip. But I didn't want to use them as a long strip, obviously. So I'm having to snip the little adhesive pieces between them to stick them down. And I'm hurrying, y'all. I'm trying to get this done because I'm thinking he's fixing to call me in there because we do our ab workout before we go. And I'm like, oh, crap, I got to hurry. I got to get this done. So I'm like I said, I'm kind of hurrying here. And this is probably the fastest I've moved in a long time. I think I made comments before. I'll watch myself on camera, and I'm thinking, good grief, you're moving like a sloth. And I don't feel like I'm moving that slow when I'm actually making the layout. That's what's so crazy. I feel like I'm, moving along. But my goodness, I watch myself on camera, and I look like a sloth. So this one, I'm like hurrying. I'm thinking, okay. And even though I know technically this is sped up, that's what's so sad. I just don't guess I'm moving as fast as I think I am. And Saturn's amazed. Look at that. She's like, ooh, Mama moving. She's going. But there we go with the big dot looking things. I wasn't sure at first when she had those little dots sketched on there. I thought, well, am I going to make that work? But these jewels are kind of good size, and I thought they looked good as compared to the sketch. So there we go, guys. That's the end of that. I think this turned out pretty cute, and I'm looking forward to showing this to my daughter. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you check out the playlist. You're going to see tons and tons of creativity. I know you will. And we will see you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye-bye.